Hello, my name is Chris Wright, and I'm going to be speaking to you today about branded and targeted resume basics. So before we start to create our branded or targeted resume, let's talk about what the purpose of the resume is. I've got 4 different suggestions on this page. Which one do you think is the purpose of a resume? Is it 1? Is it 2? Is it all of them? You have to understand that a resume is a multi-purpose tool. It's going to do a lot for you to help you market yourself to an employer. A resume has a lot in common with a really good recipe. There are certain key ingredients that you can't leave out of that recipe or that resume without it starting to fail. So the most important thing that you need to start with is your contact information. That includes your address and your phone number and your email address. Make sure that you describe the position being applied for and build a summary of your skills and accomplishments so that the reader understands that you know what this job is all about. Describe any relevant education you have or work experience, either as a volunteer or in a paid position. Here's a list of ingredients that may help your resume be more successful. Take a look at this list and consider how these things may impact the reader's impression of you. If you have this information right at the reader's fingertips, you're more likely to get a call for an interview. Just as there are topics that should always be in your resume, there are some that should never be included in your resume. Things like your height, your weight, your bank balance, how many kids you've got, what kind of car you drive, none of those things are relevant to your ability to do the job. We've included a list of some other topics that should be avoided in a resume, so take a look and see if your resume needs to be edited. So what does your resume have in common with business? Well, the old saying, location, 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 applies here. The top third of your resume is so critical to whether or not the reader is going to continue on to read the rest of your document. We talk a lot about branding resumes. Have you thought about what your brand says about you? When you start to job hunt, you're going to be marketing your own unique style to employers. And that brand needs to be consistent. Just like everybody knows when they see that Coke insignia, they know that they can count on a certain level of service, quality of product, and a unique and valuable product. We also talk about targeted resumes. As you can see by this poor fellow with his bow and arrows, he's missing the target over and over again. So we designed targeted resumes that are tailored to the specific job you're applying to. Each resume you send out needs to address the skills and attributes that the employer's looking for. It tells the employer that not only can you do the job, but you can back it up with evidence. During this program, you're going to have the opportunity to create resumes in 3 different formats. We'll be using a Word document. We'll be using a PDF, which stands for Portable Document Format, which allows you to send a Word document without jeopardizing the integrity of your formatting. And also a plain text scannable resume. When you're applying online to large companies, often a computer will scan your resume before a human ever sees it. And they're looking for keywords to make sure they're directing your resume to the correct person. Because the first resume we're going to focus on is the Word resume, There are a few tricks you can use to make sure that you get the reader's attention. The first thing we'd like to emphasize is not using a template. Employers have cottoned on to the fact that people will use a template and send the same resume out over and over again to every job they apply to. By creating a unique and well-formatted document that uses the tools that are included in this list, you will give the reader the impression that you come with a very strong set of skills that can be applied in the workplace. It's important before you start that resume that you take some time to think about what you want to put in that resume, to gather the information that's relevant and important, to really take a look at what the employer wants, and to review what you have that's relevant to that job posting. It's going to take a lot of editing. And generally, we just start by dumping everything that you think is relevant into that resume and going back and then editing and editing and editing. Any of your facilitators will be happy to help you with this, and we always recommend that you get a second pair of eyes before you send a resume off. This concludes our presentation on branding and targeting resumes. If you have any questions or need any support, don't hesitate to ask your facilitators. Thank you.